let me real quick go back, since I forgot to put the camera on. Real quick, go back over this. Okay, so if I have the square root of 25, I have both the positive and negative 5, okay? If I had the square root of negative 25, it doesn't exist, okay? Right now, it doesn't exist because there's nothing that I can multiply by itself to get negative 25. But cube roots, they're different. I'm saying, what can I multiply by itself 3 times to get the 8? It's 2, but I have a negative root there, which actually tends to be the principal root there. It's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Okay, now, if you just had a number, but we're going to put variables on it, and when I put variables in it, you can't use your calculator. But let's say I wanted and this is going to give you a decimal number, the 4th root of 2024. Okay, do you know how to do the 4th root on your calculator? Okay, what you do, put the number 4 in. Type the number 4 in, go to math, go down to where you have like, I think it looks like this, I don't know which number it was. It's got an X right there. Okay, do you see that? Okay, hit that on your calculator, and then put that number in. Okay, so 2024, and then hit enter. Did it give you a decimal value? Okay, that's how you do roots. Well, you have a square root on that easily. Okay, that's a button. But you also have a cube root, which is underneath math, and it's got a little 3 in the index. But any other things that you do roots of, you'd have to do that way. Okay, now you can also do a square root or a cube root that way. The calculator just knows that you use that more often, so it makes it more accessible. Okay, now the thing is, what we're going to do today is we're going to put variables in there. So therefore your calculator is going to be null and void. Okay, you can't really use your calculator when you have variables. What if I said the 4th root of x to the 4th power? Now, if it's got an index up there, it's easy to see. You're talking 4th root, 5th root. If there's no index number up there, what is it assumed that it is? It's a square root if you see nothing there. Okay? What is the 4th root of x to the 4th power?
X.
It's x. Okay, thinking about what do I multiply by itself 4 times to get x to the 4th? It's that, right? Okay, so therefore the 4th root of x to the 4th power is x. All right, what if I start combining things here? And they're making some of these easy on you. Okay, I know that it's going to be plus or minus. Okay, what am I going to do?
And then x to the 6th?
Okay,
Or it's the square root of the 8?
okay, it
Is
is
it
the
all of
square root of the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the square root of 49?
7.
7. Okay, so I know that part. Then I'm looking for the square root of x to the 8th power. What's the square root of x to the 8th power? What can I multiply by itself?
X to the 4th.
X to the 4th, because x to the 4th times x to the 4th is x. That's the square root of it, right? Okay, there's a shortcut. Okay, we love shortcuts. Okay, but technically what that is saying is what can I multiply by itself 2 times to get x to the 8th? Okay, shortcut is this, and it only works with the variables. Doesn't work with the numbers. Okay, now the numbers we're going to do something else to, but there's an understood 2 there, right? 2 times what equals 8 without going over 8? 4. How about that? Works every single time. Okay? What if I had that? Got rid of the 49. Well, what if I had that? What would the answer be?
X squared.
X squared. Because 4 times what equals 8 without going over? 2. So the answer is that. Okay, you with me? What about this? What would the answer to that be? It's the same thing. Okay.
Negative A plus B.
It is, okay, but make sure you keep the negative on the outside, okay? That's exactly what it is, okay? 2 times what comes close to 2 without going over it? 1. So I just put this whole thing out here, because this is the same thing as multiplying by itself. So essentially, if these two match up, they cancel out the square root. Okay, if something is squared and you have a square root, it's like they counter each other, okay? So far, so good. Let's step it up a little bit. Okay? The 5th root. Okay, what's the 5th root of 32?
2.
It is 2, okay? And you can check on your calculator, okay? Now, eventually we're going to get to numbers that it's not going to come out whole like that, okay? And we're going to do something else to them. But on this particular one, it does come out whole. The 5th root of 32 is 2. Now, when you take the 5th root, it's no longer underneath the square root or the 5th root, okay? So don't put that root over there. All right, let's look at the x.
X to the second.
X to the second. Do the shortcut. 5 times what comes close to 10 without going over it? 5 times 2 comes out even there, so I just put the 2 on it. Now eventually they're not going to come out even. Okay, 5 times what comes close to the 15 without going over it? 3. There's my answer. Okay, easy enough. What about this one? Any idea?
Was it 2?
It is going to be 2. I gotta put the negative there though, because there's a negative in front. Remember, there's an understood 2 there. 2 times what comes close to the 4 without going over it? 2 times 2. Okay, and it comes out even. So then it's 8x minus 3 squared. Okay? Because 8x minus 3 squared times 8x minus 3 squared is going to give me to the 4th, right? Right? Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, can't be done.
Can't be done. Be careful. They're going to drop that in there every once in a while. Okay? Just be aware of it. Understand that that's going to be something that they're going to do. Okay, what about this?
Cube.
It's cubed. Okay, don't make this harder than what it is. Okay? 6 times what comes close to 18 without going over it? It comes out even at 3. So therefore, my answer is 3 minus y to the 3rd power. Don't use up brain power on something that doesn't require brain power. Okay? It's a very easy shortcut method that works every time. All right. What about this? These two things are multiplied together. So I have to take the 4th root of each one of them.
That was 2 times
Okay, the 4th root of
X
16.
plus 3 to the 3rd.
Absolutely. Okay, x plus 3 to the third power. Girls, are you getting that? Are you understanding it? You're not, okay.
No, I got it up until this, and I was like,
I wanna
wait.
divide,
Do what?
I wanna divide the 4, too.
Yeah, it's like 4 divided into 3, yeah.
Okay,
And that
so
kind of
this-
looks like a division thing. Okay, but this, do you understand where the 2 came from?
Wait.
The fourth root of 16
Yeah.
is 2, okay? Because 2 times 2
Yeah,
times 2
yeah.
times 2 gives me
Okay.
16. Then I go 4 times what gives me 12? 4 times 3. So therefore, that's x plus 3 to the third power. I mean, the way that Joseph was saying it, and this might help, is you're just taking this and you're dividing it by that. Now, eventually, it's not going to come out even. Okay, and that's the only reason why I say multiplication, because eventually it's easier to look at it as multiplication. Okay, so what I'm doing is going 4 times what equals 12.
And
Yeah,
that's
right.
your power.
And that's your power, yes.
Okay.
It's not coming out even, it's like easy to divide.
It's not gonna come out even, and what's gonna happen when it doesn't come out even, and that's actually, that's the next section, okay, which, do we have time for that? I was hoping to do that. I think we do. Okay, you're gonna have still some underneath the square root when it doesn't come out even, is what's gonna happen. Are we good on this? Are we understanding this? You okay for me to go on? Okay. Okay, that first section, which the first section of your homework, they're all, when I say they're gonna come out even, you're actually gonna have square roots and cube roots of numbers that don't come out even, and they want you to use your calculator on that, and just, they'll tell you where to round it, okay? That's the only thing that's not gonna come out even, but when you put some variables on there, they are gonna come out even. And then the second page is basically called radical expressions. Now what radical expressions say is they're not all going to come out whole, okay? So let's say I've got this. We'll start out small. All right, I'm gonna take the square root of this. Now, can I take the square root of 81?
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, it's 9. So I'm done with that. Okay, I've already taken care of that part. Okay, can I take the square root of p to the 4th power?
P to the second.
P to the 2nd. Okay, and that comes out perfect, right? Can I take the square root of q to the 3rd? I can't. This is where I'm going to get tripped up here. So then I'm going to go 2 times what comes close to 3 without going over it?
1.5.
1. So that, I have a q to the 1st power on the outside, but it doesn't come out straight, okay? I still have 1 left, do I not? Because that q to the 3rd is the same thing as going that, right? And that q to the 3rd? Okay, so the square root of that is q, but then that just gets left underneath it. Okay, because it didn't come out exact. What kept it from coming out exact? One of those q's. Okay, I have 1 leftover q, so that leftover q has to stay underneath the square root. Okay, does that make sense? All right, let's do another one. All right, gonna throw some multiplication in here. At the same time, we're doing some radical expressions. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multiply what's on the outside, because I can change the order here, and I can just write it like this: 7 times 4 times the cube root of 27n squared times the cube root of 8n, right? What's 7 times 4? 28. Okay, I'm done with that. Then, if I were you, I would, you can just multiply what's underneath the cube root together first, and then work it out. Or, you can try to reduce it out first. Can I take the cube root of 27? What is it?
3.
3. Okay, so I'm going to pull a 3 out. Can I take the cube root of n squared? No, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay? Can I take the cube root of 8? 2. Okay, so 2 times, can I take the cube root of n? No. Okay, so now we got some numbers on the outside. These are multiplied here. So I can say 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 28, that's going to be 48, 168, I think. I think that's right. Okay, so now I have, yeah, check my math.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so now I've got that. Now I can multiply those two things together because they're both underneath the cube root. So I can look at it as 168 times the cube root of n cubed. What's the cube root of n cubed?
And
N. So my answer is that. Okay, just got to keep whittling away at it. Okay, let's look at this one. On a piece of scrap paper, I want you to give me the answer to this.
Can I have a pencil? I
Sure.
tried the life back in mine.
It's not very sharp. So what you got?
I got the 400x.
Okay.
I just didn't get the